The term disability insurance often creates a picture of a catastrophic injury or a worst case scenario. However, you may not know that disability insurance does not cover your medical expenses. It actually protects your income if bad luck strikes. Here with me giving us all the comprehensive breakdown of the topic is Colin Evans from Evans Financial Group. Well, Colin, can you elaborate on the purpose of disability insurance and other tips when deciding if this may be for someone or not? Short-term and long-term.
Yeah, actually, because we've got two different types of this, with, as you just mentioned, that short-term and that long-term, and they're both designed to cover certain gaps. And we look at, let's kind of break down that short-term disability and what that purpose of that is. And this is really a financial assistance, and it's for a temporary use when you're not able to be able to work. And you typically see this coverage lasting for a couple of weeks up to a maximum amount. It could be 3 months or 6 months. They typically have short durations that are there, and they give a percentage of income based off of your policy. It might pay out 40%, 50%, up to a maximum of about 70%. And where we see short-term really used, some of the most common ones that we see are that everybody can typically relate to is a pregnancy, a maternity leave. That's a quick one that people can see. Mental health issues, I know you discussed that quite a bit, but that's also can be used and actually go out and have somebody go out from their career and take a leave for that, kind of getting a head check or maybe what's going on, and have some supplemental income. And it's a lot of the questions that we'll see or that we get is, hey, why is it only going to pay 50% or 60% of my salary? That's just designed for temporary. It's to help you get by. And the reason for that is so you don't become reliant on it. It's like, hey, we want to get you, we want to be able to support you, help you get by, but we need you to, hopefully.
We don't want to make it comfortable.
Right. We want you to be able to get back to work and be able to do things. And then we look into, as we kind of want to break down the same as purpose and the coverage durations and benefits of long-term disability. And this is something when we might have a major medical ordeal or a major illness or something that could, completely take you out of your career, of something that you might have been, doing for a long time. When you see something like a physician that goes out, it has to rely on that disability insurance because, they've created a lifestyle and a career, and then something happens and they can no longer, do the doctoring and things along that. Well, that benefit is typically designed to pick up where a short-term leaves off. So it might pick up in your 6-month range, or it might pick up a year down the road. And this is something that can be extended out to a longer duration or a longer period of time. We might see this all the way into retirement. It could be even go for the end of your life. Now, similar to short-term, it's not paying the full benefit amount. It is going to pay a reduced number, but this is something that can help people in the event of something catastrophic happens.
Can you name some of those examples for us of what we think would be a good fit for that?
What I've seen, actually, and we had a case, this was many years ago, and it was a physician got injured that wasn't able to perform surgery anymore, and he was a surgical doctor. And when that occurred, we were able to kick on his long-term disability. Fortunately for him, he had something, this was a private policy, he had something called own occupation, which was added into his contract, which meant that he wasn't able to do that specific job as a doctor. But what he could do was something else in the same field, and it ended up being that he could go into like the med school and teach. So he might not have been able to work with his hands, but he was still able to go out and do something else. But the unique thing about having that own occupation clause in his policy, he was actually still able to collect disability because he wasn't able to do the exact job that he was trained for, and he had to find something else in the interim to supplement that. So that was where we really saw that. From a personal and a company basis, it's what I will finish up with this is disability is typically pretty pricey for the consumer to buy a policy on their own. It's typically on the pricey side based on the occupation. But I highly recommend it to look at if your company offers short-term and or long-term disability, because it's usually pennies on the dollar. It can be very, very inexpensive. And myself personally, I carry long-term disability because we've discussed that emergency fund in the past, and having that, I'm comfortable to carry myself for X period of time in the event of an injury or something occurring, and long-term disability can pick up and help carry me through, to retirement age and something along those lines.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Colin. You've given us some great insight on short-term and long-term disability, something for all of us to be thinking about,
Absolutely.
right? Even with the employers, I didn't know, that was a thing. So definitely going to look into that myself, because you never know. You never know.
You don't.
Thank you so much, Colin.
Absolutely.